How's it going, folks? In this video, we'll be taking a look at a QuickShifter. It's made by a well-known company called HealTech, European-based company that makes a lot of motorcycle-related accessories. But I think the most popular one from HealTech that everybody knows is their QuickShifter kit that works with a wide variety of motorcycles. Now, this kit that I got, which is called QuickShifter Easy, is I guess, upgraded version of the original QuickShifter Easy. Okay, so this version is called IQSEW1. I think W stands for wireless. But the difference between the upgraded version, which came out probably a while back, 2017, compared to the original Easy, is that this one is compatible with iOS devices, which is what I'm using. I have an iPhone 16 Pro Max. So this one is going to be able to be paired with your phone, and that you can change all kinds of parameters and set up your QuickShifter on your bike through your phone directly. And what I also understand is that the sensor, which is this pressure detecting thing, little hook that mounts onto your shifter lever, doesn't require a conical washer anymore. So you don't need to install the conical washer. But I do see, I think they included those washers. I'm not sure if that's for this. That's another small improvement, which they improved the sensor on inside the kit. Now, every time you order a QuickShifter Easy, you're gonna have to check to see which exact part number that you need. A lot of times it's this part that's gonna be different, which is the wireless, the wiring assembly, okay? So this one is for my bike, the BMW F800R from year 2015. Basically, it's got a couple of different ports. The two ports is gonna hook up to your two-cylinder, to my two-cylinder bike from the injector connector kit. So I'm gonna just go ahead and open it up. So again, this is the wiring harness kit for F800R, and actually for all the F800 models, they're gonna be exactly the same. Okay, so but double check on their website to see which exact model actually fits your motorcycle. It hasn't changed much, okay? And because my bike is also rather vintage, this kit is gonna work just great. And look at how tiny this control unit is, okay? So the cool thing about this QuickShifter Easy is that it's tiny. You only have one hook that connects the wiring harness to the control unit. And I think there's a little thing over here that controls to your lever, your actual clutch foot pedal, okay? So very easy setup. And later on, we're gonna go outside to the bike. I actually have a full disassembly video for the F800R. So if you have the same bike, watch my previous video first, then you know how to take the side fairings out, how to take the top fairing out, how to take the airbox out, how to take even the throttle body out. But you don't have to take the throttle body out. As long as you take the airbox out of the way, you should be able to access the ignition coil, which you need to unplug the actual coil from the actual bike, plug it into one of those ports, and then connect the coil from this wiring harness onto the actual coil on your bike. There are, again, some other modules available. The -1, -2, -3 is Bluetooth, W1, W2, W3 through Wi-Fi connection. Again, this is a generic guide, not particularly for the F800R. Basically just says you need to access the wiring harness, disconnect, connect a few cables. It's gonna be very, very easy, okay? Very, very easy. So you see this big white connector, this is to connect to the actual control unit. So I believe you push it in here and it's gonna lock, but now I'm not gonna lock it because we're not configured yet. And again, you have a jumper. This is to actually plug it in here if you want to disable the quick connector, okay, the quick shifter. But it's always nice to keep this jumper somewhere on your bike in case something does go wrong, okay? So you can have the quick shifter disabled. And this is the grounding area. You're gonna connect this to one of the screws nearby to properly ground this whole wiring harness. And again, those two are for the two cylinders, for the two coils. You're gonna be unplugging the coil connector from your original bike. You're gonna plug it into here, and then you're gonna connect one of this to hook onto the actual coil on your bike. Very self-explanatory, actually. So there's really not much to the unboxing, okay? Because everything will be very easy to set up. Let's take a look at the actual shifter sensor, okay? We have this part that actually connects again to the control unit. This one is the actual pressure sensor. Depending on how your bike is set up, you might have to mount this either at the joint or on the rod. So if you're mounting it on the rod, I believe you have to use this little longer screw with a few washers attached. But if you're mounting this onto the actual rod, I don't think you need anything extra. Okay, quote me if I'm wrong. But again, all those wires should be long enough for you to set it up on your bike. This one looks like it's about like 5 foot or 6 foot. Feels like quality wiring. Okay, it's nice and soft and pliable silicone. And for this, it looks like it's nicely sealed with some sort of heat resistant tubing on the entire length of the wire. So in terms of construction quality, I would say it's pretty good. Okay, and so yeah, this is actually concludes the unboxing process. And again, you have some extra screws for mounting it. You have extra zip ties. I'm gonna just put everything all in the same place. And you have a little installation guide for the actual rod, the pressure sensor. And this is pretty much everything that came inside here. Okay, so basically it shows you either mount it over here, you mount it on the rod, or you mount it over here, depending on the setup. Again, it's not bike specific. It's just a general guide. So we have to go to the bike and actually take a look. All right, so I have my bike disassembled. 2 fairings, the top panel, the seat, and the airbox. Those are all the things you need to remove to access the injector wiring harness, which is this one and this one. So next thing you have to do, okay, is pretty much unplug this, plug it into one of those in the terminals here, and then plug the other end back in there. Same thing for the other one. And once you have those wiring harness installed, find a nice way to route the wiring harness somewhere, maybe from the underside of the bike, goes all the way to the back. So it's away from the heat source and it's tucked nicely, hidden somewhere under the seat. Okay, and that's pretty much the installation of the wiring harness part. The hardest part is just taking the fairings part. Once you have access to the connectors, super easy to swap them out. And when we finish with hooking the wiring harness, we're going to be putting all the airbox. We're going to be putting airbox back on there, and I'm probably going to leave the fairings off for now, and we're just going to access the sensor part. And this bike, to access it, it's rather easy. Okay, you see this little thing right here. You're supposed to mount your sensor right here on this little thing, but as you can see, the lever is actually pretty short. So if that doesn't work, we're actually use this bolt for up and down shifting as well. So the interesting thing for this bike is you can upshift from, in theory, gears 2nd and up, and you can downshift from 6, 4, 5, and 4th gear. Okay. All All right, guys, so preliminary setup is already complete. It's again, for the wiring harness, the toughest part is finding a right spot to route the wires. Okay, in this case, you can see I already plugged all the connections that is necessary for the injector connectors. So basically the green wire that came out is from the wiring harness from the QuickShifter from HealTech, and the actual injector wires are controlled or being rerouted in here to the control unit. The control unit, if you can see, I'm gonna show you guys. The wiring harness goes down below the injector rails, below the fuel line, and I have plenty of space right here in between the engines, so I just routed it over here, put a little zip tie on the top, somewhere close to the, like right here. There's a zip tie right here, so it's kind of fixated, and this area, it's a little movable, and I just routed it through the center, comes above the adjustment for the preload for my shocks, rear shock, and goes here, and it just routes all the way to the back. And you can see I already positioned my QuickShifter Easy somewhere behind there. Nothing is going to be occupying there, so it's a perfect spot. So the line runs through the side to above the shock adjuster to the center, and then goes back up here. Perfect. Okay, and I also pre-routed the sensor. You can see I already connected the sensor wire, which is this little thin line. I routed from this side, goes through some electric wires, again go here, and there's a little nice hole right here for me to go inside and drop it down somewhere here, and it comes out here. And you can see I have plenty of space to actually adjust the sensor, put it in an ideal spot I want, and it's not touching anything. So initial setup is already done, and the next step, I'm going to be putting back the airbox, re-hooking up all the wires, put the battery on, and turn on the bike, make sure the thing is functioning properly with the lights up, and it's able to connect to my cell phone, and I should be able to get some readings and set the default values for the QuickShifter. And also I have to just unscrew the bolt, get this QuickShifter installed somewhere here or somewhere here, depending on the setup, which one goes smooth. All right, so I'll see you in the next section once I put all the airbox and everything back together. And again, the toughest part for me is just the time taken to take everything apart, and also finding a good spot to route all the wires. And for me, for the F800R, I think this is a pretty good setup. Goes to the center, and then find a hole, just route it back here, and it's absolutely perfect length. All right, so I got the sensor installed, and again, it's pretty late at night and my bike's loud, so I'm gonna test this tomorrow morning when I wake up. Basically, this is what it looks like on the F800R. Okay, you put the sensor between the bolt and this little joint on the right side, not over there on the left side. That's wrong. So basically, when you upshift, this will push against this little sensor, and hopefully it will detect the motion, the threshold, and then give it a blip in the engine. I also was not able to test to see if the light would light up, because I think for this bike, the injector doesn't work until the bike is fully started. So we just have to wait till tomorrow to further test. And if the control box doesn't light up, that means I probably hooked something wrong in the injector side, which I need to take the airbox out again and then do a test. So really we have to wait till tomorrow. But the important thing is I want to show you guys what the installation on the joint, shifter joint looks like, where the little thing is going to go in between the bolt and the joint on the right side. Keep in mind, alternatively, you can mount it over here. Okay, they do the same thing, I believe. When you shift, it detects the up and down shift motion, and it will do a blip. I think the downshift from 4th gear, you have to install it right here. Otherwise, over at this position, it only do upshift. But again, perfectly fine for me. I don't have any trouble downshifting, and I think upshifting with the QuickShifter when the engine speed is up is actually quite a lot helpful, especially with this bike. All right, so I'll see you guys tomorrow. This actually took me a while because I have to loosen this bolt, I have to loosen this bolt, and I have to loosen this bolt. So 3 bolts to loosen, and also you have to loosen this little bolt over here with a 10mm socket wrench right here. So basically, you loosen it to be able to access it, and then you tighten it, give it enough tight, 5 Newton meters to 6 Newton meters, and the sensor is in place. It doesn't move around. Ideally, tomorrow I'll also find electric tape to tape the wire over here so it doesn't interference with the shoes or anything like that. Otherwise, it will be dangerous. So yeah, just make sure this is not dangling around or being blown by the wind and things like that. That's the sensor side. Good morning, guys. So second day here, and yesterday I told you that I finished with wiring and installing of the lever sensor. Okay, so now the bike is actually almost ready to go. Before this video, I actually tested the app by turning on the bike, have it running, have the engine running. The light does come up. It comes up as green once the engine started running, which means I actually connected correctly. And granted, for this bike, it's super easy to connect, just 2 cylinders. There's no right or wrong order. You can connect one of those connectors to either one of those ports and it should work. If you have a 3-cylinder bike, or if you have a single cylinder, use the master connector port, which is the one marked with a little red square on there. And you can leave the other one unplugged, or you can plug the unused one together by themselves because they are not going to be used. Otherwise, you can see I showed you the wiring, it's routes from the side on both ends, and I already zip tied everything. Since the weather is like super nice, I am going to go out, take my helmet cam, and just do a test ride. And I'll come back and let you guys know whether you should spend $350 on a HealTech QuickShifter or QuickShifter Easy or not for your F800R. Okay, and as you can see, the only thing I haven't done is secure that Velcro thing on the bike and put my fairings back on there, which is going to be a super easy job, and then put my seat on. Okay, couple notes to take is this light, again, will not come up for certain bikes, especially for my F800R. The injector does not get electrified, does not get energized unless you start the engine. The engine is running. So once the engine is running, this light is going to turn green. And maybe I can just show you guys really quick. Okay, so I'm going to turn on my bike. And oh, interestingly, this time the light actually comes up. But before yesterday when I was testing, it's not up. So that's the interesting difference. I am going to start the bike and it's going to turn green. Okay. I don't think I'm in neutral. Okay, so there we go. In neutral, we can start. my bike, the hardest thing, even for my bike, the hardest thing is getting the fairings removed and getting the airbox removed. That's the toughest part, okay? So with that said, I'm gonna put fairings back on there and take the bike out for a test ride, because after all, this thing is to be ridden, right? It's not to be talked about. So we're gonna go do a ride. All right, okay, so it's fixated pretty nicely, and again, I need to make sure there are enough free play, and I also probably later on need to adjust the angle a little bit because it's slightly misaligned. And let me just glue it here. Obviously, I need to use isopropyl alcohol to actually clean this area a little bit better, so they do stick. But I did clean this area, so this electric tape is gonna keep it there at least for this ride. And now we can go and give the sensor a test run. Again, the clutchless shifting is recommended according to the manual for the F800R at 3000 RPM and up, and starting from second gear and up. So from first to second, I'm going to try to use clutch, and from second to sixth, we obviously do not need to use any clutch, which is going to be nice. And so let's start the ride and see how well the HealTech QuickShifter performs. All right, starting again. And the bike is already pretty warmed up, so I'm just gonna go ahead and start the ride. Hopefully it doesn't give me any issues. Apparently we have to come back after the first ride to actually retighten the sensor a little bit, because apparently it gets loose, the bolt gets loosened a little bit. Okay, so let's start. All right, let's try clutchless. Oh wow, this is awesome. Wow. Now if you watch my channel, you know that I have a DCT model of the CTX Honda CTX 700 DCT ABS. That thing is completely automatic, and so upshift, downshift, it does it for you. You don't even have to touch anything. But for this one, okay, you have total control of upshift and downshift, so which is really interesting, and I think this is gonna take a little bit getting used to. Let's try it. Nice. I'm not touching my clutch. This is actually all upshifting is all automatic. But I do need to adjust the cutoff time a little bit, because it feels a little bit wonky. It feels like it's cutting off for a little bit too long, so I definitely want to adjust to make it a little bit shorter. Gonna do a little short ride on the highway, because then I could really test how well it shifts. But yeah, this is again my first ride with a QuickShifter. So far so good. Just shifting is a little jerky. Again, I need to adjust the automatic delay, or the engine cutoff time. Probably make it a little bit shorter. Okay. But this is fun. My fun bike just got a little more fun using the HealTech QuickShifter. so much smoother than me doing my own shift. This is a lot of fun. Downshift is pretty easy. I just, you know, grab my clutch. It's very natural thing. But upshift is so much quicker. So much quicker. And again, I'm usually not the person that rides on the highway. I really think highway is reserved for cars. And again, this is my city riding fun bike, so not sure how useful it's gonna be with the QuickShifter, but it's definitely a lot more fun. And obviously I have full clutch option, so if I want to use my clutch, I can for sure do that without any issues. It's just upshifting from 2nd to 6th for that quick action. Lots of fun. Let's give it a try. I'm already in 2nd gear. Holy cow. Never thought my bike would be able to go this quick. I always thought the F800R is like underpowered. Not with a QuickShifter. It's fun. Again, I'm rather conservative when it comes to riding on the highway, but I just can't stop from having fun on this QuickShifter. This is really nice. Really nice. Now for downshift, naturally I grab the clutch, so it's really not an issue like people say, oh, I must have a downshift QuickShifter. No, you don't. Downshift is such a natural thing that you don't need a QuickShifter for. Okay, and again, upshifting, it's very smooth. The higher the RPM, I find out the more smooth it is. So yeah, no complaints. Get some gas, and then we are on the way back. Overall, very nice, very nice. And then comes to my question, how useful it is in the city. And in the city, I'm like just so used to grabbing clutch. I just grab the clutch and start using the clutch, which I guess is not bad. Try to get to the front. Yeah, so overall, first ride, I'm quite impressed. Is it $300 well spent? Yes and no. $300 for fun? Yes. Is it absolutely necessary? Not really. I mean, first to second, it shifts perfectly fine, so... And I need to adjust the shifting time points between 3rd and 4th gear, because that's the jerkiest shifting around. So And with the setting of 3000 RPM cutoff, it wouldn't let me shift anytime my RPM is actually below 3000. So, which I guess is a safety feature. It doesn't want your engine to accidentally turn off during the upshifting because of the undergear. Okay, so definitely works. But after this ride, or after more rides, I definitely want to explore the option of customizing this a little bit more. So yeah, let's get some gas first. Yeah, so I am impressed. The QuickShifter, in my opinion, is definitely more fun than the DCT. And would I get another DCT model? Probably not. Would I get another bike with a QuickShifter? Absolutely yes. It's just more control than a DCT, that and also more fun than a DCT, because you have traditional option 100%, and you have upshifting option, 50%, because you don't, for this bike you don't have a downshift. But this is definitely something that I would like in my future bike purchases. And Miami drivers, as you can see, always crazy and not paying much attention at all, so really do have to be careful. Again, for the shifting between 3 and 4, it is a little jerky, so I definitely want more smooth tweaking. Between 3 and 4. But in the city, going quick, start up quick, absolutely no issues. Absolutely no issues. With the use of the clutch, mixed clutch and quick shifting, I think you'll be spoiled quite a lot. And if you have another bike that doesn't have quick shifter, you'll have to take some time to adjust to it. For example, I have my NC700X that I use for pretty much everything else besides having fun. Maybe I'll get a quick shifter for that bike as well. Make it the quasi DCT. I don't know. But this is definitely a fun thing to have, okay? Fun thing to have. Back to the question, is it worth it? In my opinion, for my fun bike, absolutely worth it. Is it worth it, or is it an absolutely must-have? No, not really. So if you have the extra money, spend that $350 and get this on a bike and transform your riding experience. Literally, this transformed my riding experience, even on the first ride for my F800R. Before, I was like, I almost want to sell my F800R just because it's, it feels like it's underperforming. But I think what the QuickShifter fixes is adding that fun factor and make it just so much more smooth to operate. So absolutely recommending the QuickShifter. So for the rest of the video, I'm just gonna ride and enjoy the ride. This is a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
it literally makes my hand maybe 50 to 60 times less fatigue from having to pull the clutch in each of those gear shifts when starting the bike. So highly recommended for the fun factor. Not a necessity item, but a fun item. Okay. And I absolutely do not want to be at the back, just because how I got hit last time. It is crazy. It is crazy. In the front is much better. I feel safe. Oh. Yeah, just from the little bit of the highway riding, you can see how freaking dangerous it is riding on the highway here in Miami. And not to mention, I was not even on the highway. I got hit at a stoplight, not even moving. So definitely use your caution. If you're in a crazy city like Miami, be extra careful. That's my extra riding tips for you, besides the QuickShifter review. Okay, so ready to ride back home. Give you guys a impression. It's so easy to go fast. Yeah, even scary, because you wouldn't realize when you look at the tachometer, you're already at 70 to 75 on the 6th gear. Because the upshifting is just smooth and fun without any intervention, it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Downshifting, again, with clutch is perfectly fine. And what I also noticed is that I don't have to use a lot of force. If I tap it lighter, it actually shifts smoother. If I tap it really hard, it kind of jerks a little more. So maybe that's something that I also need to explore later on, the more I ride my bike. But fuel mileage is pretty good, also 52 miles per gallon. Yeah, overall, the F800R with the QuickShifter is the way to go for having fun. Yeah, look at those people. Got into a neutral position, which is weird. Yeah, that is weird. Definitely we need to take a look at why that happened. A false neutral. So I've adjusted my settings a little bit, and this time it shouldn't give me any issue. And also, this is gonna be my second test. What I found out is when I was installing the sensor, I missed a screw that I didn't tighten properly, and it was almost falling out. So I think that might have caused the misshifts and also the false neutral. So this time I've changed just, the delay settings to 20 milliseconds, and also the engine cutoff time to still keeping it at adaptive, but at 95 milliseconds. Let's see if it's gonna cause any more issues, and hopefully not. And then it's just gonna be a test run. I'm going to Costco again to grab a set of running headphones because I started running recently, and the AirPods is not cutting it, and keeps falling off. So a trip to Costco on the HealTech QuickShifter, easy. So finished my shopping, got what I needed, heading back. One thing I noticed immediately after I properly tightened the loose bolts on the shifting lever is I haven't had a single misshift or a false neutral during my ride here. So that could be the contributing factor. But what I also did is adjust the delays to be a little bit longer to avoid false positive, false neutral, and also misshifts. So both of those I think contributed, and yeah, so far no issues. Even shifting from first to second is rather nice. Second to third, fourth, fifth, absolutely no issue. But again, this area, lots of crazy drivers, so I'm gonna be using a little more caution as I ride, less talking. But so far I'm very impressed. I think I can conclude this video, which for the first half is installation tips. In the middle is the first ride, and this will be the conclusion part, which is my second ride after just a minor adjustment on the delay settings and properly tightening all the torque, all the screws and bolts, which so far works fine. No issues at all. And this will make my this will make me ride my F800R a lot more compared to the NC700X, which right now I'm riding more than this. I think the quick shifter factor is definitely fun to have, and makes riding the F800R a lot more spirited, which makes it the true fun bike around the town. Even if I need to go on a little highway, it's able to carry me there. As you can see, as evident in this video, I'm just doing a 10-minute trip to Costco, and it did its job on the highway. Again, I hate riding on the highways, so you might not be seeing me riding on the highway in the future videos as often. But this one is just to test the QuickShifter, make sure it works properly. So yeah, I hope you guys found this video helpful, and if you did, please do hit the like button and subscribe. I should have more moto vlog videos coming out for you guys. Okay, so thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Perfect. Absolutely no issue on the second ride. So I think it's safe to conclude this video and say the HealTech QuickShifter Easy is a great addition to any bikes that are compatible with it, to add a lot more fun to your ride. And if you can get it dialed in, it's almost perfect. Okay, hope you guys found this video helpful, and if you did, please do hit the like button and subscribe. I sure have more riding videos coming out for you guys. So thanks again, and take care.